Welcome back to FC Coins World. In today's video, we're diving into the UK 5p coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth II, minted in 1980. This coin is a fascinating piece of British numismatic history, and I'll be sharing all the details and insights you need to know. If you're a coin enthusiast or collector, make sure to stay tuned, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep up with more coin discoveries and reviews. Let's get started. The UK 5p coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth II, minted in 1980, has a long and interesting history that ties into the broader narrative of British coinage and its evolution over the centuries. The 5p coin is part of the decimal coinage system introduced in the United Kingdom in the early 1970s, as the country transitioned from the old pre-decimal system that had been in place for centuries. This transition was a monumental change for British currency and required the minting of a whole new set of coins with different denominations and specifications. The introduction of decimal coinage began officially on February 15, 1971, known as Decimal Day, when the UK decimalised its currency system, replacing the old system that divided a pound into 240 pence with a more straightforward system of 100 new pence to a pound. This change required extensive planning and public education to ensure a smooth transition, including new coin designs that would be easy for the public to understand and use. The 5p coin was one of the key denominations introduced during this period. Initially, the 5p coin was equivalent in size, weight, and value to the pre-decimal shilling, which had been in circulation for decades and was familiar to the public as a small silver coin used in everyday transactions. The old shilling and the new 5p coin both circulated alongside each other for several years until the shilling was eventually demonetised in 1990. This dual circulation period helped the public adjust to the new decimal system and minimised disruption to commerce and daily life. The 5p coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II first appeared in 1968, a few years before Decimal Day, as part of a gradual rollout of the new coins into circulation. This early introduction allowed the public to get used to the new coinage system while the old system was still in place. The 1968 version of the 5p coin was larger than the current 5p coin, measuring 23.59 in diameter and weighing 565 grams. The coin was made from a cupronickel alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a silver appearance that was similar to the shilling it was replacing in 1980, when the specific 5p coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II was minted. The coin featured the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. Ian's portrait of the Queen had been introduced in 1968 and was used on most British coins until 1984. This portrait shows the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, which was a wedding gift from Queen Mary to the then Princess Elizabeth. In 1947, this iconic image of the Queen became one of the most recognisable depictions of Her Majesty in the UK and abroad, and it symbolised the stability and continuity of the British monarchy during a time of significant change in British society and its currency system. The obverse side of the 1980 5p coin features the inscription Elizabeth to DG Reg FD 1980, which stands for Elizabeth II, Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensa. This Latin inscription translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, defender of the faith, emphasizing the Queen's role not only as the head of state, but also as the head of the Church of England. The reverse side of the 1980 5p coin features a crowned thistle, the national emblem of Scotland. The inclusion of the thistle on the 5p coin represents the unity of the nations that make up the United Kingdom, and it also reflects Scotland's historical significance within the UK. The design of the thistle was created by Christopher Ironside, an English painter and coin designer who was responsible for many of the designs used on British coins. During the decimalization period, Ironside's design of the crown thistle is intricate and detailed, capturing the delicate nature of the thistle plant and the regal presence of the crown that sits atop it. The crown depicted is the St. Edward's crown, one of the most important symbols of the British monarchy in the coronation of British sovereigns. For centuries, this combination of the thistle and crown symbolizes both the strength and beauty of Scotland, as well as its integral role within the United Kingdom. The 1980 5p coin was minted at the Royal Mint, which is the official mint of the United Kingdom, and has been responsible for producing British coinage for over 1,100 years. The Royal Mint has a long and storied history dating back to its founding in the 9th century, and it has produced coins not only for the UK, but also for many countries around the world. The minting of the 5p coin required advanced techniques and technology to ensure that each coin met the exact specifications needed for consistency and reliability in circulation. In 1990, a significant change occurred to the 5p coin as part of a broader effort to reduce the size of several decimal coins in response to public feedback and the need for more efficient coin production. The size of the 5p coin was reduced from 2,359 mm to 18.0 mm in diameter, and its weight was reduced from 565 grams to 325 grams. The smaller version of the 5p coin retained the same cupronickel composition and the same design elements, including the crown thistle, but it was now more convenient for everyday use. The reduction in size was a significant change that required careful coordination with the banking sector, vending machine operators, and the public to ensure that the new smaller coins could be accepted, and the end of an era for the original 5p design. But it also paved the way for the continued use of the more compact and practical version of the coin. The history of the 5p coin is also closely tied to the broader history of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. Queen Elizabeth II was the longest reigning monarch in British history, and her image has appeared on more coins than any other individual in history. Over the course of her reign, there have been several different portraits of the Queen used on British coinage, each one reflecting different stages of her life and reign. The 1980 5p coin features the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was used from 1968 to 1984, and is considered by many to be one of the most elegant and timeless depictions of the Queen. This portrait by Arnold Machin was notable for its lack of a coronation crown, which was a departure from previous portraits that had featured the Queen wearing the St. Edward's crown. The choice to depict the Queen without a crown was meant to present a more accessible and less formal image of the monarch, reflecting the changing attitudes of British society during the late 20th century. The use of the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara in the portrait was a nod to the Queen's personal life and her role as a figure of continuity and tradition. The tiara itself has a rich history, as it was originally a wedding gift to Queen Mary from the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland Committee in 1893. The tiara was later passed down to Queen Elizabeth II as a wedding gift in 1947, and it has become one of her most iconic and frequently worn pieces of jewelry. The 5p coin minted in 1980 is just one example of the many coins that have been issued during Queen Elizabeth II's reign, but it holds a special place in the history of British coinage due to its role in the decimalization process and its connection to the broader narrative of change and modernization in the UK. The coin also serves as a reminder of the intricate artistry and craftsmanship involved in coin design and production, as well as the careful consideration given to the symbols and motifs used on British currency today. The 1985 coin is no longer in circulation, but it remains a popular collectible item for numismatists and coin enthusiasts around the world. Its historical significance, its connection to Queen Elizabeth, and its place in the story of British decimalization is a fascinating piece of British history that continues to be studied and appreciated by collectors and historians I like the legacy of the 5p coin, and its impact on British currency can still be felt today, as it laid the groundwork for the modern coinage system used in the UK. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning about the history of the UK 5p coin from 1980. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to FC Coins World for more coin reviews and numismatic insights. See you in the next video. $2009 Australian 20-cent coin. If you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about this piece of Australian currency, make sure to stick around. Let's dive in and discover what makes this coin so special. The Australian 20-cent coin has a rich and detailed history that dates back to its inception in 1966, the year Australia adopted decimal currency, replacing the British pound system that had been in place since the time of colonisation. The introduction of the 20-cent coin, along with the other decimal denominations, marked a significant turning point in the history of Australian currency, as it was not merely a shift in the monetary system but a reflection of the nation's growing independence and identity. The coin itself has undergone various design and compositional changes over the decades, each iteration reflecting different aspects of Australia's culture, heritage, and technological advancements. The original 20-cent coin, introduced in 1966, featured a design by Stuart Devlin, a renowned Australian artist and metal worker, who was commissioned to create designs for all the decimal coins introduced that year. The design on the reverse side of the 20-cent coin depicts a platypus, one of Australia's most unique and iconic animals, swimming in a swirling pattern of water. This design has become synonymous with the 20-cent coin and has been retained for most of its production history, with only a few exceptions for commemorative releases. The obverse side of the coin originally featured the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, as Australia is a member of the Commonwealth, and her image has been updated several times to reflect her changing appearance over the years. The 20-cent coin was originally made from 92% copper, 8% nickel, and was produced with a diameter of 28.65 mm and a weight of 11.31 grams. It was minted at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, as well as at several other locations, including the Royal Mint in London and the Royal Canadian Mint, to meet the high demand during the initial years of its introduction. The 20-cent coin has been produced in numerous editions, with some variations being more valuable and sought after by collectors, due to factors such as mintage numbers, minting errors, or special commemorative designs. One of the notable commemorative editions of the 20-cent coin was issued in 1981, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the opening of the Commonwealth Parliament in Canberra. This coin featured a design of the Parliament House instead of the platypus. Another significant release was in 1995, when a 20-cent coin was issued to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II. This coin featured a design of a dove flying through the rays of a rising sun, symbolizing peace. The history of the 20-cent coin also includes a number of rare and valuable variants, such as the 1966 wavy baseline era coin. Collectors. This era occurred during the minting process and resulted in the bottom of the numeral 2 on the reverse side of the coin, having a distinctive wave-like pattern. This variant is considered a key piece for any serious collector of Australian decimal coins due to its rarity and the visual appeal of the era. As we move into the 21st century, the 20-cent coin has continued to evolve. In 2009, the year that we're focusing on today, the 20-cent coin continued to feature the traditional platypus, designed by Stuart Devlin on the reverse side, while the obverse side carried the fourth effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This effigy, introduced in 1998, is notable for its high level of detail and for portraying the Queen with a more mature and dignified appearance compared to previous portraits. The 2009 20-cent coin was minted at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, and it was part of the ongoing production of this denomination that has been in place since its introduction in 1966. The coin was produced using the same copper-nickel alloy as previous issues, and there were no significant changes in its physical specifications. However, what makes the 2009 20-cent coin and other coins of this period interesting to collectors is the fact that these coins are a testament to the continuity and stability of Australia's currency system, despite the many economic and social changes that have occurred over the decades. The 20-cent coin has remained a constant presence in everyday transactions, serving as a reliable medium of exchange and a familiar symbol of Australian currency. In addition to its role in commerce, the 20-cent coin has also served as a canvas for commemorating significant events and themes in Australian history. Over the years, the coin has featured designs that celebrate Australia's natural heritage, its cultural diversity, and its contributions to global events. For instance, in 2001, a special 20-cent coin was issued as part of the Australia Centenary of Federation series, which celebrated the 100th anniversary of Australia's federation as a single nation. This coin featured a design representing each of Australia's states and territories, highlighting the diversity and unity of the nation. Another notable commemorative edition was released in 2010, featuring a design that celebrated the 60th anniversary of the introduction of the Australian National Service Scheme, which was a form of conscription for young men in the 1950s and 1960s. This coin featured a design of a serviceman holding a rifle, with the Australian landscape in the background. These commemorative issues have added to the historical and cultural significance of the 20-cent coin, making it more than just a piece of currency, but a symbol of Australia's evolving identity and heritage. In terms of mintage figures, the 2009 20-cent coin was produced in relatively high numbers, as it was intended for general circulation. However, as with many coins, the actual number of coins that have survived in pristine condition can be much lower, due to factors such as wear and tear from everyday use or damage caused by improper handling and storage. For this reason, collectors often seek out 2009 20-cent coins that have been well preserved, especially those that have been graded by professional coin grading services. High-grade examples of the 2009 20-cent coin can command a premium in the numismatic market, particularly if they are free from blemishes, scratches, or other signs of wear. Collectors also look for coins with strong strikes, clear details, and well-defined edges, as these characteristics are indicative of high-quality minting. Furthermore, the 2009 20-cent coin is of interest to collectors because it represents a specific moment in time within the broader history of Australian coinage. The year 2009 was a relatively stable period for Australian currency, with no major changes to the design or composition of the 20-cent coin. This stability contrasts with earlier periods of more frequent changes and reflects the mature state of Australia's currency system in the 21st century. Additionally, the 2009 20-cent coin can be seen as a continuation of the legacy of Stuart Devlin's original platypus design, which has become an enduring symbol of the Australian 20-cent coin. Despite the introduction of new technologies and techniques in coin production, the platypus design has remained largely unchanged, serving as a reminder of the rich history and tradition of Australian coinage. Thank you for joining me today as we took a deep dive into the fascinating history of the Australian 20-cent coin, specifically the 2009 edition. I hope you found this exploration informative and engaging. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to FC Coin World for more videos on the history, features, and stories behind coins from around the world. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or if there's a particular coin you'd like me to cover in the future. Until next time, keep collecting and appreciating the history in your pocket change. See you in the next video. Welcome back to FC Coin World. In today's episode, we're diving into the history and details of the 2000 UK1 penny coin. We'll explore its design, value, and some interesting facts you may not know. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, stay tuned for another exciting coin adventure. The history of the UK1 penny coin dates back to the introduction of decimalisation in 1971, when the United Kingdom transitioned from the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence to a simpler structure of pounds and new pence. Before this time, the monetary system in Britain was far more complex, with 12 pennies making a shilling and 20 shillings making a pound. Under the new system, the UK introduced coins with simpler denominations, including the 1 penny coin, which was one of the first decimal coins to be produced prior to 1971. The penny that was in use in the UK had been part of a system that dated back to the early medieval period, with the first penny coins issued in the 8th century during the reign of King Arthur of Mercia. King Arthur's pennies were made of silver and weighed about 1.3 grams. These early pennies were struck by hand and circulated widely throughout the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, as well as parts of what is now modern-day France. In fact, the penny became so widely used in Europe during this time that it served as a model for many continental currencies over the next several centuries. Penny coins would undergo numerous changes in their design, size, and metal content. By the time of the Tudor dynasty in the 16th century, the penny was still made of silver, though its value had decreased due to inflation and changes in the economy during the reign of Queen Elizabeth. The weight of the penny was reduced several times, and its design was standardized to feature the Queen's portrait on the obverse side and a cross on the reverse. In 1663, following the English Civil War and the restoration of the monarchy under Charles II, the British government reformed the coinage system and introduced a new copper penny. This marked the beginning of the use of copper for low-value coins, a practice that would continue until the 20th century. The copper penny of the 17th and 18th centuries was much larger than the modern penny, and it featured a design with the monarch's portrait on one side and Britannia on the other. This design, with Britannia, the personification of Britain holding a trident and shield, became a symbol of the British Empire and would continue to be used on British coinage for over 300 years. Moving forward to the 19th century, we see the penny coin undergo significant changes. During the reign of Queen Victoria, the British economy expanded rapidly. During the Victorian era, as the Industrial Revolution transformed the country from a largely agrarian society into the world's leading industrial power. As part of this economic transformation, the Royal Mint produced vast quantities of coins to meet the growing demand from an increasingly urbanized population, and the classic image of Britannia on the reverse, the bronze penny, proved to be a durable and popular coin, and it remained in circulation for over a century, surviving the reigns of several monarchs, including Edward VII, George V, and George VI. By the mid-20th century, however, the penny's role in everyday transactions had diminished. Inflation and rising costs meant that the penny had lost much of its purchasing power, and the increasing costs of metal production led to calls for a more efficient and cost-effective coinage system. By the 1960s, discussions were underway in the British government to decimalize the currency and replace the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence with a more straightforward decimal system. 2 years of debate and planning, decimalisation was officially introduced on February 15, 1971. A day that became known as decimal day. On decimal day, the old penny, which had been in use for over 1,000 years, was replaced by the new penny. The new penny was worth 1/100th of a pound rather than 1/240th, as the old penny had been. This marked a significant change in the UK's monetary system, and it required the public to get used to new coin designs, denominations and values. The first decimal pennies were made of bronze, just like their Victorian predecessors, and they featured a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse side and a design of a crowned portcullis on the reverse. The crowned portcullis is a symbol with deep historical roots in British heraldry, originally used as a badge by the House of Beaufort during the Wars of the Roses in the 15th century. The portcullis became associated with the British monarchy and was later adopted as the official emblem of the Palace of Westminster, where the UK Parliament meets. This reverse design remained on the penny for several decades, but in 2008, the Royal Mint introduced a new series of coin designs that aim to modernise the look of British currency. The new penny, issued from 2008 onwards, features a segment of the Royal Shield of Arms when combined with the designs on other denominations of UK coins. The penny forms part of a larger image of the shield. This design represents the continuing importance of the monarchy and the nation's history, while also giving British coinage a contemporary look. The 1 penny coin in its decimal form has been struck in several different metals over the years. In 1992, the Royal Mint made the decision to switch from bronze to copper-plated steel due to the rising cost of metal. This change significantly reduced and the classic image of Britannia on the reverse. The bronze penny proved to be a durable and popular coin, and it remained in circulation for over a century, surviving the reigns of several monarchs, including Edward VII, George V, and George VI. By the mid-20th century, however, the penny's role in everyday transactions had diminished. Inflation and rising costs meant that the penny had lost much of its purchasing power, and the increasing costs of metal production led to calls for a more efficient and cost-effective coinage system. By the 1960s, discussions were underway in the British government to decimalize the currency and replace the old system of pounds, shillings and pence with a more straightforward decimal system. 2 years of debate and planning, decimalization was officially introduced on February 15, 1971, a day that became known as Decimal Day. On Decimal Day, the old penny, which had been in use for over 1,000 years, was replaced by the new penny. The new penny was worth 1/100th of a pound rather than 1/240th, as the old penny had been. This marked a significant change in the UK's monetary system, and it required the public to get used to new coin designs, denominations and values. The first decimal pennies were made of bronze, just like their Victorian predecessors, and they featured a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse side and a design of a crowned portcullis on the reverse. The crowned portcullis is a symbol with deep historical roots in British heraldry, originally used as a badge by the House of Beaufort during the Wars of the Roses in the 15th century. The portcullis became associated with the British monarchy and was later adopted as the official emblem of the Palace of Westminster, where the UK Parliament meets. This reverse design remained on the penny for several decades, but in 2008, the Royal Mint introduced a new series of coin designs that aim to modernise the look of British currency. The new penny, issued from 2008 onwards, features a segment of the Royal Shield of Arms when combined with the designs on other denominations of UK coins. The penny forms part of a larger image of the shield. This design represents the continuing importance of the monarchy and the nation's history, while also giving British coinage a contemporary look. The 1 penny coin in its decimal form has been struck in several different metals over the years. In 1992, the Royal Mint made the decision to switch from bronze to copper-plated steel due to the rising cost of metal. This change significantly reduced collectors, especially if found in uncirculated condition or as part of a complete set of UK decimal coins over the years. The value of individual penny coins can vary depending on factors such as condition, rarity, and demand among collectors. For example, pennies with errors such as restrikes or off-center designs can fetch higher prices on the collector's market. Similarly, limited edition proof versions of the penny, which are struck with a higher level of detail and finish, can also be more valuable to collectors. Proof coins are typically produced by the Royal Mint in small quantities and sold directly to collectors as part of commemorative sets or special releases. Here's a detailed outro for your video that wraps up our deep dive into the rich history of the 2000 UK 1 penny coin and its long-standing journey in British coinage. I hope you enjoyed learning about its origins, design, and significance from the early medieval period to the modern decimal system. Remember, coins are not just currency, they're pieces of history that tell the story of nations. If you found this video informative, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with fellow coin enthusiasts, and subscribe to FC Coin World for more in-depth coin stories and numismatic treasures. Make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep exploring the world of coins. Welcome back to FC Coins World. In today's video, we're taking a deep dive into the history, significance, and unique aspects of one of Australia's most iconic decimal coins, the 1967 20-cent coin. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, this coin holds a fascinating place in both Australian history and numismatic collections worldwide. So, let's get started to understand the importance of the 1967 20-cent coin. We first need to go back a little further to 1966, when Australia underwent a major economic shift, moving from the old British imperial currency system to decimal currency. Before 1966, Australians used the pounds, shillings, and pence system, which was complex and difficult to manage. This system was inherited from Britain and had been in use for more than 150 years. The decision to adopt decimal currency was made to simplify monetary transactions, improve efficiency, and modernize the Australian economy. This was in line with many other Commonwealth nations making similar changes in the post-war era. On February 14, 1966, known as C-Day, the transition was made official. The Australian public was introduced to a whole new set of coins and banknotes, and this included denominations such as the 1 cent, 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents, and the larger 20-cent coin. These decimal coins were intended to replace the old penny, threepence, and florin. The 20 cents coin, introduced in 1966, was one of the most significant coins in the new decimal system. But the version we're focusing on today, from 1967, is particularly interesting. Let's first take a look at the design. The 20-cent coin was designed by Stuart Devlin, a well-known Australian artist and metal worker, who was responsible for designing a range of Australian decimal coins. His work has been praised for its ability to reflect both Australian culture and the country's unique natural beauty. On the reverse side of the coin, Devlin chose to depict one of Australia's most recognisable and beloved animals, the platypus. The platypus is native to Australia and is known for its distinctive appearance, being a mammal that lays eggs and has a duck-like bill. Devlin's depiction shows a platypus swimming through water, creating a sense of movement and life. The coin's design is both simple and elegant, with the animal taking centre stage. The obverse side of the coin, like all Australian coins, features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. As Australia is a member of the Commonwealth, the portrait of the Queen was created by British engraver Arnold Machin and was used on Australian coins for many years. Up until the 1980s, Machin's design shows a youthful, regal Queen Elizabeth wearing a tiara a symbol of her authority and connection to Australia. As its monarch. The dimensions of the 20-cent coin were also noteworthy. It was 28.52 millimeters in diameter, weighed 11.31 grams, and was made of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy gave the coin its characteristic silver appearance and made it durable. For now, let's talk about the production of the 1967 20-cent coin. While the initial decimal coins were minted in 1966, production continued for several years, with coins minted both for circulation and for collectors. The Royal Australian Mint, which was established in Canberra in 1965, was responsible for producing the bulk of Australia's decimal coins. However, due to the immense demand for the new decimal coins, the 1967 20 cents coin was also minted at two other facilities, the Royal Mint in London and the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa. These facilities assisted in producing the large numbers of coins needed to meet public demand. This cooperation between mints wasn't unusual in the 1960s, as Australia didn't yet have the capacity to produce enough coins on its own. The 1967 20 cents coin minted in Canada, for example, is identical in design, but can be identified by subtle differences in die markings and strike quality. There were millions of 20-cent coins produced in 1967, and they entered circulation alongside the 1966 coins. While the mintages were large, 1967 coins from different mints can have minor variations, making them of particular interest to collectors. The 1967 20 cents coin entered circulation at a time of great economic and political change in Australia. The post-World War II boom was coming to an end, and the country was starting to experience the effects of globalization, changes in trade, and shifts in its economic relationship with the United Kingdom. In 1967, just 1 year after the decimal currency was introduced, the British pound was devalued as part of efforts to address economic challenges in the UK. This devaluation had ripple effects on the Australian economy, which at the time was heavily reliant on the British market for its exports, particularly agricultural products. Australia did not follow the UK in devaluing its currency, but this created a complex economic situation that influenced trade and monetary policy. The 1967 20 cents coin, therefore, represents a period of transition in Australia's economic history, when the country was beginning to assert its independence in the global economy, while still maintaining close ties with the Commonwealth. For coin collectors, the 1967 20 cents coin holds a special place. While it's not a rare coin in terms of mintage, millions were produced, its collectability lies in its place as one of the early decimal coins, as well as the different mint locations. Collectors wearing a tiara, a symbol of her authority and connection to Australia. As its monarch. The dimensions of the 20 cents coin were also noteworthy. It was 28.52 millimeters in diameter, weighed 11.31 grams, and was made of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy gave the coin its characteristic silver appearance and made it durable. For now, let's talk about the production of the 1967 20 cents coin. While the initial decimal coins were minted in 1966, production continued for several years, with coins minted both for circulation and for collectors. The Royal Australian Mint, which was established in Canberra in 1965, was responsible for producing the bulk of Australia's decimal coins. However, due to the immense demand for the new decimal coins, the 1967 20 cents coin was also minted at two other facilities, the Royal Mint in London and the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa. These facilities assisted in producing the large numbers of coins needed to meet public demand. This cooperation between mints wasn't unusual in the 1960s, as Australia didn't yet have the capacity to produce enough coins on its own. The 1967 20 cents coin minted in Canada, for example, is identical in design, but can be identified by subtle differences in die markings and strike quality. There were millions of 20 cents coins produced in 1967, and they entered circulation alongside the 1966 coins. While the mintages were large, 1967 coins from different mints can have minor variations, making them of particular interest to collectors. The 1967 20-cents coin entered circulation at a time of great economic and political change in Australia. The post-World War II boom was coming to an end, and the country was starting to experience the effects of globalization, changes in trade, and shifts in its economic relationship with the United Kingdom. In 1967, just 1 year after the decimal currency was introduced, the British pound was devalued as part of efforts to address economic challenges in the UK. This devaluation had ripple effects on the Australian economy, which at the time was heavily reliant on the British market for its exports, particularly agricultural products. Australia did not follow the UK in devaluing its currency, but this created a complex economic situation that influenced trade and monetary policy. The 1967 20-cents coin, therefore, represents a period of transition in Australia's economic history, when the country was beginning to assert its independence in the global economy, while still maintaining close ties with the Commonwealth. For coin collectors, the 1967 20-cents coin holds a special place. While it's not a rare coin in terms of mintage, millions were produced, its collectability lies in its place as one of the early decimal coins, as well as the different mint locations. Collectors